Hey guys, welcome to Bayou's Corner. I'm Jasmine Ballew. Today, we're going to be meeting with Monica Grant. She's the CEO of Young Boss Media and Never Enough Coffee, so she has some things you want to hear, so keep on watching. Welcome back to Bayou's Corner. So we have with us Monica. So first questions first. We know you're an amazing businesswoman, so in this category, we'd really like to hear what you have to say. So when it comes to being in business or being a businesswoman or businessman, how often should mental health be prioritized over business and vice versa? When should business be prioritized over mental health?
Wow, that's a deep question.
We gotta get right into it. I'm telling you, it's light, but it's deep, Get right into it.
We jump right into it, okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay, so mental health, how important is mental health? I think it's extremely important. I don't see how functional you can be in a business world without taking care of your mind, because that plays a major role in how I navigate, navigate relationships, navigate business decisions. If you're unstable, depending on what your background is, right? So, for example, like say if you have low self-esteem and somebody just comes up and says, "Hey, you're beautiful," you be great as a model. I'm sure you've heard this, right?
Yeah.
People are trying to manipulate you.
Of course.
And so if you don't have a strong mental standing, you can be very gullible, very naive, and kind of just go with the wind. And that doesn't make for a good business person, because in business you have to be really grounded. You have to be anchored in your vision for what you see your future as, not what somebody else sees your future as, because everybody has a game plan. And so if you're not executing your game plan, you're on somebody else's field. Okay. You're playing somebody else's game. So I think in anything, anything that you're attempting to execute, whether it be sports, whether it be lifestyle, business, you have to be really grounded mentally, and so whether that take on, mental practice, spiritual practices, journaling. I've been to therapy. I've sat, in a few therapists' office.
Nice.
I've had to quit drinking, focus on my health, and I was actually just thinking about this morning. I've had a lot of success since I've stopped drinking.
Wow. That's very interesting.
The momentum that I've been able to build up has really propelled, the entire company to levels that would not have been able.
That actually ties into one of my other questions. So when it comes into terms of drinking and alcohol and stuff like that, if you're already kind of struggling with your well-being, do you think that it can play an effect on your mental health, or like?
Yeah, as far as like alcohol?
Or drugs. And I'm asking negatively and positively. Like, do you think there's a way that you can do it in a positive light, or do you think that just altogether it's something that people should avoid if they're already struggling with those kind of issues?
For me, it's not something I can play with, and I think if somebody's already struggling with it, I believe that it's best that they not do it. Because here's the thing, like alcohol, it breaks down into sugar, right? And so most of us are addicted to sugar. And so that's one thing I recognize, that I have a stronger addiction to sugar than I did to alcohol. And it took me years to quit alcohol. I had to pray about it. I went to AA meetings. I had to understand the addict's mind and the things that an addict would do. And I had certain behaviors that I would put alcohol in front of my own safety. There's been plenty of times where I could have, driven off the road or, killed myself while I was drinking, right? And so at no point did my mind tell me, hey, maybe I should stop, right? And so that's the addict's mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when I stopped drinking in 2017, I then focused on like, what else am I addicted to? And then I recognized sugar. And so the sugar from carbs, the sugar from what we put in our coffee, the sugar from just a lot of things that are man-made break down into sugar, which creates a behavior pattern of need. I need to consume this,
Okay.
People that eat a lot of chips or cereal, things like that, they're very irritable. So if you ever see somebody off of sugar, it's like somebody being off their meds, right?
Yeah, I work with coffee, so sometimes it's almost the same thing. People off of caffeine, it's an addiction. So their body goes through the withdrawals and everything.
You know it, and so understanding like what you're addicted to is like, and what you're triggered by is extremely important. So if you already know that you're having a hard time dealing with, whether it be pills or alcohol or just whatever it is for you, because everybody has a vice.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I never have this conversation with somebody as a saying, oh, look at me, I'm better than you. Like, no, everybody has a vice. I still got vices, you know, I'm just kind of knocking them off, right? But yeah, you have to be very aware of what you're addicted to, and admit to it. And that's the first step of AA, right? You have to acknowledge it. So until you're ready to acknowledge like what you're struggling with,
It's not gonna get better.
yeah, it's not going to get better. You're going to deal with it.
And that's actually another question too. I know you're the boss, and most times when I see you, you're very like focused into work and everything. How often do you openly discuss your well-being and your emotions with people around you?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
All the time, like, because it's the easiest way. Like, I'm an in the now person. So if I'm happy now. Like, if I'm upset now. Because I don't ever want to take this home and like, oh man, Jasmine got on my nerves, but I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just ignore her for the rest of the week. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
You know, like let's talk about it, because certain things can just be nipped in the bud. Certain things can, you know, just be dealt with. And I think just in business, you don't have time to collect interest on negativity. You know, like you want to fix it immediately. And so that goes with everything. I like to be in a vulnerable space. And so that's why I'm very particular about who I spend my time with.
Yeah.
I like to be intimate with everybody in my life. And intimacy is not sexual, it's open. It's being able to be vulnerable, just be able to say, I'm sad, I'm happy, I want this, and not be worried about somebody trying to stab me in the back. You know, and so I'm very particular. Like, I don't know if you know this, but like, if you bring somebody around me, I don't know, I'll be like, oh, who is this? And then when I'm open to them, I'll give you everything.
Yeah.
I'm a complete open book. And so that does go into like, yo, I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
You know, I need a hug. You know, I need this or whatever. And that's something that I had to learn. You know, it's something that I had to grow into. You know, I wasn't born this way.
Yeah, I
You know?
understand. All right, we got one more question before we
Okay.
go on break. This one's a little bit deeper, so you don't have to go into detail, but do you feel comfortable sharing an example of when you had to get through a struggle that you had with your mental health? Like, do you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, so I think when I went to college, I went to college when I was 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I was a baby.
Yeah.
And, you know, at that age, you don't think you're a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it's like prime age of...
I was grown
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
you know, and I knew it all. But at the time, I was coming from, you know, my mother had always worked. She was a worker, and my father wasn't there. I love my pops, but he just wasn't there. And so a lot of my childhood, I felt neglected. And so when I went off to college, I went through a deep depression. And that's also like what sprung. I had already been like drinking with my friends in high school. But in college, so I went away to college. I went to, my first school, I went to Alabama, Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And so in a small town, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're going to the club.
Yeah.
So literally at 17 years old, I can get into a club, a grown club, with a college ID.
Wow.
I didn't need a state ID.
Okay.
I just needed my college ID. And then the person at the bar was on the softball team. So I knew the person at the bar, so she would hook me up with the drinks.
Yeah.
So literally here I am, 17 years old, acting like an adult.
Yeah.
Acting like I was grown, you know. On top of, you know, not really understanding, like I'm covering up, feeling like I was neglected, feeling like, you know, I was lost and didn't know where I was going, and feeling like I needed to belong to different groups. So I went through a major period of depression. I went to that school on a scholarship. I had a full academic scholarship, and nearly blew it because it was more important to me to be hanging with my friends than really paying attention to these classes. And so I ended up having to go to summer school just to pick my grades up in order to maintain the scholarship. And that's something I had to negotiate. I had to go in there and be like, yo, how can I keep this? You know, I had to negotiate it, yeah. But from there, I went to go see like the school counselor, and there wasn't much that they really could do at the time. And I don't know why. I don't know if they weren't really tuning into what I was saying or what.
Did you tell them that what kind of things that you were struggling with, or did they just thought it was grades, you were just kind of falling behind?
I feel like I did, but I felt like maybe at that time I wasn't necessarily acknowledging everything that I was going through, or maybe I wasn't aware. But also, I still feel like they might have dropped the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I also feel like you always hear that sometimes Black women, their health isn't taken as seriously when they talk to doctors. So you can kind of imagine how it might be if you're talking to, like, you know, somebody working in a school. They might even be more likely to say something.
Right, especially if most of the students aren't saying that, or it's it's just an uncommon conversation,
Yeah,
for
exactly.
people like us to talk about.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, I've gone to therapy a few times in my life at certain periods, and what I recognize is that, one, I'm a person of transition. Like, that's just my life path, and during those transitionary periods, what I know now is to be very in tune with what's going on, and to also like deal with problems head on. And so that's like, to answer your question from before, I like to deal with problems head on now, so I don't have them dwelling, you know, so like they're not, metastasizing into bigger issues when they can be dealt with right now. And so that's what I've learned from those years of going through a depression, because it would keep coming back, and I wasn't properly dealing with them until I met another therapist, maybe about 5 years ago, who kind of helped me think about how to think about how to deal with it. And even still, with all that, I'm still drinking, I'm still smoking, I had a job paying me good money, traveling across the country, still living like a rock star. And it wasn't until I stopped drinking for real, that I got the success that I'm having now. And it had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with anything other than what's internal, And so it's work.
Yeah.
This is work.
Bettering yourself and everything like
It's
that.
work.
Learning yourself.
It's a constant process.
I agree. All right, guys. Well, we're going to be right back with Bayou's Corner. Thank you.
I am never going back.
I'm about to run out. Community, what we feeding ya? Young Boss Media, who you need is us. Business community, what we feeding ya? Young Boss Media, who you need is us. Business community, what we feeding ya? Young Boss Media, who you need is us. Business community, what we feeding ya?
I am never going back.
Underrepresented.com.
I hope that tonight is not, you guys know that, if you do the work, you work hard enough, dreams come true. You know that, we all know that. But hopefully what you get from tonight is the understanding that those times when you get up early and you work hard, those times when you stay up late and you work hard, those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. And if you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will. And if you guys can understand that.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Should I dance? Like,
You can dance.
I can't dance though. Hey guys, and welcome to the Safe Space. We're about to be back with Bayou's Corner, but for now, welcome to the #1 place to talk about all the ins and outs of mental health. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing depression. Depression is something that's universal to everybody, all ages, all genders, all sexual orientations. It doesn't really matter. The thing with depression is a lot of people don't believe in it. It's something that people believe that if you're going through something, it's just a phase. You're tired, you're irritable, it's just something you can snap out of. And most times, depression is not that. It's something that you actually do need to go and get treatment for. It can pretty much affect anything. There have been people I've known before who have gone through like depressive states where they've just like lost a whole bunch of weight. It just kind of depends on the person. Depression does not just have one type of like look to it. It's just kind of however you're going to deal with it. But once again, if you are going through some of these symptoms, it's something that I would say you should look into, do your research, and see if there's something that you can get treatment for, whether it's medication, a support group, even talking to your friends, therapy. Just kind of reach out to somebody and see if there's someone you can talk to about it. Thanks again for watching Safe Space. We're about to be back with Bayou's Corner in 1 second. Welcome back to Bayou's Corner. So right now we're about to start an exercise. And for today's exercise, you're going to be person A, I'm going to be person B. And person A is going to be a call representative. So you're going to be answering the phone, going to be trying to help me in any way you can.
Oh, for real? Okay.
I'm going to be person B, but the thing with that is person B is going to be saying completely nothing because I'm going to be reading off of a screenplay, like a random screenplay. So what I'm saying has nothing to do with our conversation, but you're still going to have to try to give me legitimate answers to these things that I'm saying. So we're going to be working on problem solving, communication, so
you want some free game?
yes.
I got you.
But this script has nothing to do with what we're going to be talking about, so you going to have to play along.
Maybe you shouldn't have told me that part.
I'm sorry, like. So how you feeling? You ready to go?
I'm good. I'm
All
good.
right.
This my phone.
Okay. So, ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi. Dora, take her place.
Hello.
Better stop off the court.
Who am I speaking with?
Nice pass.
What?
This is not working. Why did this game tell me to play this? Oh my God. Okay, so we're going to try that again.
Listen,
right?
listen.
Like, let's try that again.
Listen,
Like.
I was nicer to you than I normally am. This is TV.
Okay, all right. Let's do it again. So I'm gonna call you. Like, they really said this was going to be something fun. I'm over here like, this don't make no sense.
Somebody
Like,
made this game for you?
yes, it was in a book. Like, I have an entire book. Okay, so we're gonna do this again. All right, ring, ring.
Yeah, who this?
Can you hook me up with some socks, please?
Socks? What kind of socks?
What am I, the sock lady or something?
Maybe you called me.
That's what you trying to show out for, freshman?
Listen, who you talking to like that?
I was just playing ball.
All right, I see you there.
You were trying to make me look bad.
Well, you was already looking bad.
I didn't have to try very hard.
Show didn't.
Okay. All right, so we done. All right. For real. I was like, it was supposed to be helping with problem solving. The example that they gave, it was like a little bit better. I was like, okay, that seems fun. Like, she was giving legitimate answers. This is not.
What book did you? What book is that?
That was Loving That was Loving Basketball. We shouldn't have even done this, but but the book, it was it's like 50 books of like games to play, like get into it. I don't even know. All right, so that was it for the game today, guys. So
My mental health has been ruined from this game.
ran through, confused, combobbled. All right, we got one more question though.
Okay.
Okay, it's not gonna be as confusing as that
Am I
last
on the
thing
phone?
though.
I'm
no,
talking to you.
you look talking to me,
Okay,
and we're not talking about socks no more neither.
Thank you, Jesus. I don't talk about no socks. Thank you, Lord.
So, do you have any tips for teens dealing with mental health illnesses right now?
Oh man. Yeah. One, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Life is stressful. There is help. Don't look for help in the wrong places. Because sometimes, like, we want people to love and support us in ways that we need, but we go to the wrong people. And it particularly like in relationships, like we beg that person, love me, love me, love me, and it's like they just can't give it. You know, and so then you end up in a more toxic relationship. Really focus on, like, you know, your own health and like understand. I mean, this is just for everybody, right? You have to be number one in your life.
Yeah.
Like it's just you. Yeah, I mean, even if you came with a twin, it's just you in this body. And if you're not number one, if you're not like to your peak, you really can't give. You really can't help anybody. You know, it's one thing I had to learn. Like I'm able to give because I'm giving from my surplus.
Yeah.
If I'm giving from my deficit, I'm going to resent the fact that I gave you my last $100.
Yeah.
I need that back.
Yeah.
But if I give you love, if I give you whatever, and I'm giving it from my surplus, then that means I'm living in abundance, you know? But if I'm giving from, you know, from my last, then I'm gonna be hurt. And so I think it's important just to know that we gotta focus on ourselves, and it's okay. And sometimes it's okay to turn off the social media. It's okay not to be cool. I think I've always been okay with not being the most popular. Even though I was always popular, I was always cool with kind of like, you know, no, I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I'll wait. You know, and just being cool with being yourself. Even if you're weird, I'm a weirdo, you know? Like, I think everybody I know is a weirdo.
I agree. I was about to say, I wasn't
know?
even going to say nothing because I was like, you already know I'm a weirdo. So, yeah, the fact that I pulled up with this game, you know I'm a weirdo. I don't know what that was.
You don't talk about it.
For real. All right, so thanks for tuning in to Bayou's Corner.
Sure.
Until next time, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, Young Boss Media.